got 2 more clocks basically for free on Marketplace. This one's called Lava, which I've tested out and it doesn't seem to want to run. And the other one, which I'll show you here, is down in here. There. Oh, it's running now. And this one does not have a name on it. We'll give it a name later. But it has, it's older, so it's a little bit nicer than the other one. That stopped again. So this clock has a pin in it here, which we have to pull out with the pliers, and then we'll get behind the face and we'll see what's happening. Give it a wind, see if it ticks. Something's loose there a bit. Face is a little damaged here. Yeah, to put them on the bench there to get this pin out because it was too tight. Unusual, but some of them just, you know, every clock's different. Okay, I'm gonna have to get a screwdriver to get that off. Oh, want to hear the dongs, baby. Nice sound. That's a lovely sound. Huh? It's off strike, right? It's a half hour, right? So I lifted the pendulum off. The face isn't going to come off just like that. It's held on the back. So I have to open the back up somehow. So I'll have a quick look at that and we'll see how it goes. I call this the free clock at the moment. I looked this up, but I'm not too sure, but I think I'm going to call this at the moment the German clock because it seems to be made in Germany. That's what they're saying. But we'll find out for sure later on. Got to open the back and see what happens here. Yeah, I'm just quickly taking the back off this. I think this is one of these ones you can't get off from the front. So I'll just remove all these screws quickly and we'll analyze it further. So there's 2 screws there and then there's some nails in here, I think. So I need a little larger screwdriver to press this up. There it goes, look. It's going. So, looking in this clock, it hasn't been cleaned for a long time. You can see here, there's grease on this. So it does need washing, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure it's going to start ticking again. But lovely sound off this clock. When it chimes. Here she goes, listen up. Absolutely gorgeous. No problem there. Now, I think the workings just slide off actually. If I take out, let me get in camera here. I'll get back a bit. If I take out these 2 screws, I think this thing comes out. Quite smart actually. So almost I didn't have to take the backing off. I didn't know that, did I? Let's put it down and do it. Pan, pan, pan. There you go. Up a bit, I suppose that would help. There we go. I take out those 2 knob screws and I think it slides out, which is great. And I think the face comes off with them. Oh, look at that. Isn't that smart? And I think this face comes off with just 4 pins. Let me show you. There's 4 pins right here holding the face on. And the face needs work. It's quite scratched. I'm not too sure how to deal with that yet. You know, scratched here everywhere. It's a lovely clock, I think. So we'll see what we can do with it. See, the pin comes in the back here. And you just got to get it through the other side. That's one. That's two. They're a little stubborn. There's one. And there's one missing over here still. There we go. Now I have them all. I'll just put the pins through and tap them slightly. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but it goes in that little hole there. And I keep knocking the striker arm. That's through. That's two in. And then I have another two on this side to do. I remember taking them out, but I didn't know where I took them out from. You know? It's very hard to show you this with all my fingers in the way, but... And there we go, that other pin in. This just holds the face on. It's quite smart, actually. So we got three in, and we got this one more to do here, and then we'll check them all. It's right there. Right there. Pin sticking out, the head sticking up. They go through. Yep. That's solid. Of course now this can't go anywhere, so let's just check them all quickly. That's in. That's in. That's in, and that's in. Now we slide this back in at 12 o'clock. And I'm going to pull you up over here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just sliding this back in the rack. And then I got to get those same two screws I showed you a minute ago. Those two gnarly screws there. And just screw them in the sides and it'll be it. Yeah. I took out the 4 pins out of each side and it lifts off. It does look a little bit like German engineering, to be honest. But we shall see. Yes, so I'm here with the German face clock, and I used a little bit of sandpaper up here, but it's scratching too much and I'm a little worried. So I've got a little water and I have my cutting compound, I should call it. It is for a car, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm trying this. I don't know how the numbers are going to go. Are they going to actually clean off? Or I mean, my big worry is down here with the 6 is that I wipe the whole number away, but you know, I can only try to go around it, or I have to repaint it in afterwards. But look at the black coming off. So I don't think that's just from the I don't think that's just from the numbers. I don't think that is the numbers. I think it's the dirt. But I mean, if I do this part of the clock here a little bit, you'll see what I'm getting at. See, look here, and look here. So I'm just going to keep polishing this until I get something really nice. I think I'm on the right track. In the center here is definitely working. There'll be some blemishes, all right, but that's the age of the clock. I'll just keep going and see what I get. Yeah, it is, to be honest, I love the way they say that in these shows, but it is true here that it's a little scary because the numbers are coming off. Look, there you go. And some of the line came off there, so I've got a problem. Right? How much do I clean? How much don't I clean? Do I want to be putting numbers back on that? Not really. I've already wiped that out a little. That's so upsetting. That was just a light rub, so I've got to go in between more. And I got to watch up there too with the dial. See, it didn't happen in the beginning. I don't know why. Now it's coming away. We'll give it a quick rub. And we'll just have to redo that a bit. This is going to be a pain. Yeah, I'm just keep cleaning very delicately and see how far I can get with this. See if I can salvage it. Yeah, so this German clock dial has given me a little bit of a run for my money. I started cleaning it and the 6 came off, and you can see it's kind of brassy here, and here it's silver. So I have to stop and think about what I'm going to do. So I decided to remove this rim for starters, because I want to make this back to a gold look, because it's bronzy gold and it looks really worn. So I'm going to enhance that, but I have to work out what to do with this dial yet. I cleaned the center and it's gone silver, but it had a goldy kind of silver. So I'm going to sit on that and try to work out how to improve that dial and bring back the letters and that. I might have to trace them first to make sure I have the patterns correct in that. So that would be important as well. So I'm going to hold off on that. I will do the rim sometime with a bit of gold, but that'll be about it. All right, so move on. And I got to look at the mechanics still. Yeah, I'm just working on the German clock on the face. Remember I said I didn't know what to do? I think if I got a new one, it would look too new. So I'm trying to redo the old one. So I'm just using a permanent black mark with a very fine tip and trying to find my way. See, it's getting there. I've done the 12 a bit. There's a little bit overshoot on the 1 there. And I've done some of the 2 up top there in the corner. And I did in the 5 down here. It needs a little more filling, but you know, you take it back a bit, it looks pretty good. I think I might get this good enough, you know, so that it's usable again. I don't really want to put a new one in, it'll look too new. So I'll just carry on trying to fill these in. So what I'm going to try to do is ink in the 9 here, ink in the 9 on this plastic, and then turn the 9 upside down and make a 6. And I don't have carbon paper. I was trying to use this invoice books that I have here to carbon it over, but it doesn't work. So I just got to maybe cut it out and make little spots around somehow like that. But I'm just going to work on this and see how it goes first. I'm going to do the plastic first and then try to transfer it over onto the clock. Yeah, so I've been touching up this clock for about an hour and a half maybe. And you can see what I got. It's not perfect, but I think I did a pretty good job. I'm quite happy with it, and it still looks old. So, you know, it's a bonus. And I think that'll be it. I don't think I'll put in modern edge on it. I think I'll leave it old at this stage, because I think it gives it a kind of a patina look, which I'm looking for. I've got to move on to something else now and see what I can do with the casing, and does it need anything. Yeah. So what the German clock here, it was getting donated to me really, but they left it out in the garage, and you can see there's paint marks on it. Just a little bit of paint marks, the windows and everything. I'm just going to give it a cotton wool cleanup and we'll see what we'll do with it. I don't want to go too far. Scratching it a little, and so we'll just rub this cotton wool over the paint marks. My glasses on, of course, and just trying to get rid of these paint marks. You can see one right here, and we'll just try to remove all that. Then we'll see what we'll do with it all, you know. It's a nuisance, you know, that they left it out there, because it was most likely in good condition before that. Just get a brush so I can sweep off the dust, and keep at this for a while, and then we'll have a chat, and we'll go from there. Back to the same. Get a brush in a minute. See, that's lightening up too much here. I got to do something. Paint here. Yeah, so I thought I heard something was loose. And as I was sanding, you can see here in the corner, it's loose, pretty loose. So I'm just going to pull it out a bit. Oh, no brand names they say, but hey, who cares? Bit of glue on there and a bit of glue on the bottom there. And it should hold fine. It's still nailed in, or something's holding it, so that's good. So we'll just run a bit of glue in there. Make sure we got plenty of glue on both sides of this. And that will hold that corner in place. It looks pretty good there. I just wipe it afterwards. Get a bit of glue in here at the top. Oh, it's closed on me, has it? There we go. There's glue there. We'll glue both sides. You can use any wood white glue really. We'll just glue both sides and she'll be like good as new. That looks good. And I got glue in there so she'll stay tight when she gets in there. That looks good. Look at that. I have a bit of water here. We'll take a clean tissue. Just give it a quick wipe. There we go. And then, oops, we'll get a tape and put it on there. I don't think we need to clamp or anything. And just wire wool it later on, will be fine. Yeah. There we go. It's all glued up there. That's all it needs, and now it needs a little bit of a cleaning and a bit of varnish, and we'll pop her back together, I think. I'm gonna have to get one clock done at least. So the corner's drying, but I want to carry on, so I'm going to use this wood finish, which is in this can right here. And it is supposed to be brown, and we're going to just give it a light white and see how the clock looks afterwards. Try to make the whole clock look like it was white. And we'll leave the corner. Maybe I'll see when I get there what I'll do. Oh, sounded weird, but anyways. Should get a brush too to work around this unit here. I'll just grab one in a minute. Bit of paint still there. Whoops. Which isn't good. Maybe we can get rid of it quickly. Yeah, not the greatest idea to get it in the junk in your stain, but anyways. You can always leave it dry and touch it up. What I'm trying to get rid of is these little nicks in here where you can see the coloring difference, see? I want it to be all uniformed again, like one clock. There we go. That's beginning anyways. I'll just keep doing that and I'll show it to you when I get close to the end. Yeah, so I've been staining away and this is what it looks like right now. It looks quite good. I'm pleased with that. I'll just leave that dry. I got some little touch-ups but not much. Looking really good. Clock's coming together. Welcome back to the repair shed. In this episode I am going to be putting the German clock back together, and I've already taken it apart, you've seen all that, but I've just turned the back of it up. This is the actual frame, but I put it on backwards here to slot the mechanics in, which are in a plastic bag to keep them clean. So we'll get to that, and we'll just slot this into the frame holder. Yeah, so these are the two gnarled screws that hold it in, and this basically goes with the striker hitting the spring back, and it just slides in here. It's very smartly done. And there's two little threads here, and you just can pick your spot, which I think is this one here. And you just screw it in. I'm not sure why it's not hitting. Has that been turned or something? Mechanism just locked in on both sides here. Tighten it up and she's back in, and we just got to work out why the striker gong is not working. Oh, it is. There we go. Lovely sound. Perfect. Nothing to complain of. Seven. Sounds like 10 o'clock. And we just place her into the lid and nail the back down. Putting down the back of the clock, nailing it down. Be ready to go soon. This is just the hanger for the wall here. We're going to put back in. Look at that screw is really crooked, but that's the way they did it. I'm not going to correct things. Don't ask me why they do that. Make a beautiful clock and then you put your screws all crooked. And there were two screws in the back here, just I think as a safety precaution. They may have been put in later, as you can see. They do hold it tight though. Also a fear of it coming off from the wall. There we go. She's in. Back's in. You can turn her around to the front now. See how we're doing. Needs touch-ups, I'll do that afterwards. Lovely. Yeah, so I made a little error. The face was pinned onto this. So I have to remove this and pin the face back on from the back before I can do anything else. So that's just one of those things. I was wondering what those pins were for. Going there in the box where they don't make sense. That's what happens when you have parts left over. It's like 3 minutes and we're back to square one. Still got the back on though. Up she comes, and see in the back here, on the front here, the clock goes in with those pins like this, and then there's the pin through the back. However this works. Got to get it right. Anyways, I'll place this on quickly. So the last time it struck was 10 o'clock, so we're putting the hands on, the first the small, then the big, and then the dishwasher always facing up, so it's sprung load. And then there's a little pin that goes in it. I need a doctor's pliers for a really, what I call doctor's pliers always. These. We put that there. Oop. Didn't catch it. Right? and we try to get it through the top of this thing. It's not quite on yet. There she goes. Maybe it goes the other way. Oops. That was great. Oh, there's the hole. That's why it's not going. It's either that way or the other way, you see. It's tapered from what I gather. Oh. That fell down there in the wood. I've got to go find it. So I've tipped her up like this, and we go up here. 1, 2, 3. Come on, baby. 4. Yes, baby. Lovely. Make sure that hand's not bent out too much. Doesn't hit the glass. There's a bit of dust on this, which isn't good. We'll clear that later. But in general, looking good. I've just got to clean the pendulum off a bit. See what I can do with the pendulum quickly. It's not exactly shiny, it's kind of dull. Maybe a bit of steel wool or something. Moment of truth. Lovely, ticking away. And at the half it should do 1 gong. I might do a little bit of brass on here yet to make it look a bit better, but I quite like it. It's a little dusty. Now leave it dry, sit overnight though. She's ready to go. I could set her up for tonight and see if she runs till the morning. Pretty happy with that. So, yeah, so this is my test wall where I test the clocks out. Now you got to make sure it's level on top here. Across here, put a level. Make sure it's level here and level down so that the clock can run properly. Just leave it run a while. You used to do about 10 ticks, now it's doing 20, and then it'll do more and more as it goes along. That's how they are. I put a liquid in it that loosens it out, so they will loosen out. Watch after a while. Just been sitting there for so many years not being lubricated. Yeah, because I put it all together and it didn't work, well, it went faulty. I've decided to test this, make sure that it's keeping close to time, and then I can adjust the pendulum up and down. But it's ticking away nicely, so that's good. Yeah, so I took out this piece here, this little spring that broke. I actually had this kind of come off a shelf and I caught it, but it broke the spring here. So I've taken this off the lava clock, and I've taken the spring out of the lava clock fitting and put it, there was a hole in it so I could put a pin through and use that 2 brass pieces. And down here I had to file this fork here larger to fit the lava clock piece. But it is ticking away, which is good. I don't know how long it'll last, but we may have the problem solved. If it runs for a while, you know, give it a half an hour, then I'm set. I can put it in and put the dials on and see if it's keeping time and what kind of time, because you know the dimensions maybe with the spring might be a little different, so I don't know how much it's going to affect the clock timing. Here, I'll turn around so you can see the red here. Here you can see my little brass fitting in the hole, and there's the spring, and there was this little like kind of dumbbell weight here on the bottom that used to be on the lava clock. So I had to make it the fork. I had to widen this little fork on this pendulum for this clock to fit that. But at the moment it's working, so I'm pleased. Let's just hope it keeps ticking. It has a tendency to stop and go a bit, this clock. And the reason the pendulum is backwards down here is simple. I have this clock turned in the reverse way, so I can see the pendulum and the mechanism and try to straighten things out. And then you take it out of the little bracket and turn it around, put it back in. So it's just for testing. Yeah, so when the clock is at a incorrect angle like this, actually it's the other way because I turned it, this is reverse now, this is the back of the clock facing out, it would be like this, this way, it runs correct, fine, and then when I turn it level, I have a level on top of the clock stops running. So I'm adjusting these points here to try to make it so that it works when it's level. So I'm adjusting these up and down. If you adjust them down, it doesn't work at all, and then adjusting them up, it's beginning to work again. So now I've just got to get it so that it works level, and our clock should be perfect, should run. Looks pretty good at the moment. Just see how long that runs. This is the German clock, and I just did the spring on it because I had a drop and I caught it and it broke. So I used an old part and put it in there, and I just showed you that. But now I want to bring this copper area. I actually put the clock together, but I don't like this copper area. It's too worn out looking. It needs to look old, but it needs to look more gold color, not a bronze. It was kind of gold coated, so we're going to just do that right now. So I'm just mixing my gold powder together. So I've taken a bit of varathane and a bit of gold powder here and splashed them into this. So I got varathane, a bit of gold powder, and a little bit of thinners. And we're just going to paint it onto this rim a little and see what we get. Oh, it's so different when it's like this, look. I got to find out a method of doing it so that it doesn't look too uniformed. Beginning to shape up, look. I'm not too sure what's the best look, but we will get there. I need a little more thinners here, clean thinners though. See if it'll work better. Yeah, it's a bit more liquidy. You see that? It might be too liquidy now, but kind of going back and forth, aren't I? Get the light over here a bit more so you can see it better. There we go. Getting a kind of a copper look. Might be too thin now. It's really warm today. Watch, it'll dry out pretty quick. It doesn't look the way I want it to yet. We'll get there. It's coming along. I'll just carry on until I get all the way around. So here's the free German clock. I call it the German clock done. And another great clock repaired in repair shed and not being thrown away. I put a new spring on the pendulum. Needs a little bit of a tuning, I think, still, but it's running.